Hi, I'm Smita from Smita London. Thank you so much, Luna Microcare, for sponsoring this podcast. I'm here to talk to my lovely husband, Haran Rasalingam, and we're going to be talking all things psychology and beauty.
Hello, my name's Haran Rasalingam. I work for Thought Bubble Psychotherapy and Coaching. That is my company. Delighted to be here with you, Smita, to talk about the intersection between our two worlds.
And there really is an intersection. So first we're going to be talking about skin and dress and how stress affects us mentally, how it affects our skin. There's a lot to talk about.
So how does stress affect the skin, actually?
So when we're stressed, in our bodies, we have naturally free radicals. They are cells which can damage other cells. But when we're stressed, there is an increase of these free radicals. So we're finding that our skin is going through something called oxidative stress, where those cells are being more of the good cells are being damaged all the time. So you're going to have more baddies than you are going to have goodies, right? So that is really going to impair our skin barrier, which means that our skin is going to become more sensitive. It's also going to cause collagen depreciation, really. So our collagen is not going to be stimulated as much. We're going to find that our skin's going to become more lined, more wrinkled, and we're going to find that our skin is less elastic as well. So the lines and wrinkles are all going to start coming up when we're stressed, basically.
So did you call them free radicals?
Yeah.
What are they exactly?
So basically we have these they're kind of electrons in the environment that damage our bodies and our skin. And we have them in our bodies, but our body has an immune system, so we're able to fight them. But if you have these too many free radicals, our body is not going to be able to fight them. So,
and the stress means you can't cope with it.
Yeah. Your stress is definitely going to cause that.
And then you said about collagen. So what does collagen do?
So collagen gives our skin elasticity and it basically plumps our skin up. So if we don't have enough collagen in our skin, we're basically going to see lines and wrinkles. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with lines and wrinkles, but why do you want to have more of them when you don't need to have them? Why not look after our bodies and we age well, and our cellular age is much better than our actual age? That would be a great thing to have, right? So if you're always stressed, your cells are going to age much more quickly.
I suppose it's interesting because a lot of people probably don't relate stress with skin.
No.
Right. And so it's quite unusual to think about that. So that's really fascinating.
Yeah. So how would you say stress affects the body or the mind?
Yeah. Well, so stress is quite a common thing in psychotherapy. People come often because of stress. And one of the key things is it affects behavior, right? So when we're stressed out, we don't look after ourselves as much, so we might tend to eat less well, just grab whatever, because we start not attending to things we should be attending to. So we may eat more junk food, or just grab something from the freezer, chuck it in the microwave. Or we might start eating a load of biscuits, taking loads of sugar. Sorry, I'm getting too close to the bone. And also sleep. So stress really affects your sleep. Sleep deprivation. So it's going to affect your bodily health. So I'm just wondering, actually, whether that in turn then has an additional knock-on effect on skin.
It really does, because basically, if you're eating junk, right, that is going to really impact on your skin, because we actually have something called a gut microbiome, which is basically good and bad bacteria, and our skin relies on this, on our gut. So if our gut is not taking in the essential vitamins and fatty acids, etc., what's going to basically happen is that we're going to see inflammation on our faces, on our skins. So that's the first thing. So you might see more rosacea, you might see more hypersensitivity. So that's really important. And then sleep is a huge thing, because when you're not sleeping properly, your skin is not going to regenerate, it's not going to repair, because that's what we do when we're sleeping. That is what our skin does. So
if you're not sleeping, you're not having that repair time.
No. And so what we want is when we sleep, those cells which have been damaged new cells can be formed and can be produced, regenerated. And if there are any damaged cells, some of them can be repaired. So that's not going to happen. Also, if you're not sleeping, you're going to get big bags under your eyes, puffiness around your eyes. That's going to make a difference. And we were talking about sugar. Sugar is such a huge thing when it comes to aging skin, because we get something called glycation. So if you're drinking lots of alcohol, which has sugar in it, or we're eating loads of biscuits, then what's going to happen is that we're going to get these crisscross lines, because our cells, our collagen cells, are actually being damaged. So again, lines and wrinkles.
So when you analyse a new client's skin, can you tell that the damage is caused by stress, or it's just one of many possibilities?
Sometimes I can, because if the skin is so sensitive, it feels like either they've not used the right product or it's stress related. And I would say for a more mature client, I would say that I see more stress. And also sometimes a person who's got a lot of lines, when they really don't need to have those lines, especially if they've got quite good genes, or they're more from a Mediterranean background where the skin's got that bit more oil in it, it will seem kind of like strange to me. So there isn't the right correlation.
The wrinkles they have is incongruent with their overall well-being.
Yeah.
So do you advise your clients, if they seem stressed, would you check in with them on that?
When I do a consultation, which is what you obviously do as well, I do ask a lot of questions. It's really, really thorough. So I'm trying to find out about their world, because you also want to understand, like, well, can they come and have regular treatments? Is this a one-off? Are they going to be using the skincare? So why have they come for this treatment? So I want to know everything about them, and I want to know how I can help them. So I do ask about what their stress levels are like. I ask about their diet. I talk about taking care of yourself, what that means, because we might have really great kind of intentions, but life gets in our way, right? And then we come in, see Smita from Smita London. I want to have all these lovely treatments, but life gets in the way, and then they don't do it. So I want to find out all of that. That's really important. So diet, stress, anxiety, what their routine is, how they look after themselves, how they wind down in the evenings, all that kind of thing. I
also find when speaking to clients for the first time, and they may not necessarily link the two things together. So firstly, in your case, I guess they probably put stress to one side. They think, I'm going for a skin treatment. My stress level's got nothing to do with it. But even in therapy, sometimes people come and they say they've got this problem, that problem, and they can't. And then I check in with them. Well, maybe you're stressed, and they sometimes haven't even considered it. So just even asking the questions can draw their attention to something and maybe help.
But who isn't stressed as well? Most people are stressed. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Do you know what I mean?
But I think it's about stress in itself is not necessarily bad. I'm talking from a psychotherapist point of view, because it's kind of a sign that you're into something, or you've got something going on in your life. Your other extreme is people who are depressed and they don't have stress because they've got nothing happening. But it's about manageable levels of stress, right? And so I think when people are getting to the stage where they're not looking after themselves, I think that's a sign that maybe there's too much stress to handle.
And how do you deal with that with your clients, Haran? What do you say to them if they feel like they've got too much to handle? Yeah,
well, firstly, it's making them aware. Sort of a little bit of psychoeducation, we call it, and also just trying to listen to their bodies more and to question the workload that they have, or whatever the pressures are. Some of it may be unavoidable, but to really check in with them, is all of it absolutely necessary? Is there some way that you can reconfigure your life to take some of that load off? Maybe this is a temporary thing and it will go away in a month or so's time. Fine, you may have a big deadline to meet. It's going to be stressful, and then you'll be fine afterwards. So I think making them aware of how they're feeling and how that's affecting their behaviour. And it may also affect their relationships as well, because people can get ratty. But what I tend to find is the more aware people are of their own issues, the better they can make proper decisions, appropriate decisions.
It's interesting because when clients are on the bed, they tell you everything. And I always think, oh, I need to have Haran there, because my first thing is to give my opinion. Leave him. You can do better than that. And actually, they just want you to listen. Sometimes I look at my clients, I think you really need to see Haran, because I can really give you that support in making you feel good and giving them a lovely massage, or making them feel good when they've had a treatment and they look good and they're aging really well, etc. But actually, you need to feed their soul in a different way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe it could work the other way around as well. Yeah. If they're worried about their skin or something, I could send them to you.
Do they come? Would they ever say, "Oh, I'm worried about my skin"?
They don't in such a direct way, I suppose. People do worry about their image in some way, right? Their body may be a problem for them, or the way just generally the way they look. I suppose first, rather than drill straight into, okay, well, let's fix that then. Let's fix that wrinkle that you've got or whatever. We're firstly trying to understand their relationship with their body and their attitude to their body, and its aging. We all age, right? And but it's certainly an interesting angle, because it's about self-care as well, isn't it? In what ways do you look after your skin? If you're worried about your appearance, do you actually look after it?
Exactly. Because a lot of people say, oh, they'll moan about their appearance, but they don't do anything. Oh, I don't even wash my face before I go to bed or whatever. Right. And there's nothing wrong with wrinkles. Wrinkles tells you a story, but you can have wrinkles but still look fresh, and you can still look gorgeous and beautiful. So for me, it's just making the best of yourself and actually making you feel good. That's what I think. Definitely.
I think there's you're comfortable with the way you're presenting yourself to the world. I think that's important. And it is a bit reductive to say wrinkles bad, smooth skin good, but they may be indicators of something, right? So you're saying it could be an indicator of stress. And I'm saying it could be an indicator of being worried or whatever. Somebody's frowning and looking, because we spend quite a lot of the time looking at the body language of our clients. So that's a pretty important part.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. Well, thank you so much,
and thank
Haran.
You. I've learnt so much from how Smita London deals with stress.
And I've learnt so much from how Haran Rasalingam from Thought Bubble Coaching deals with everything. So thank you so much. And thank you so much, Luna Microcare, for sponsoring this podcast.